This is the Classic Auto Mall Show. Broadcast from the studios inside the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Just 1 hour west of Philadelphia at Pennsylvania Turnpike exit 298. Featuring nearly 1,000 classic, vintage, and barn-find vehicles for sale under one climate-controlled roof. Now, here's your host, Classic Auto Mall president and the man with all the toys, Stuart Howden.
And welcome show number 220. Before our holiday break, we're going to take next week. We're not doing a show 221.
All right.
Yeah.
No problem.
Because we don't have time to edit it because
well,
all the stuff we got to fix.
We've got enough in the can that people can go back and listen to some old.
We're going to do a classic episode.
Ah, there we go. There we go. We're 220 episodes, so we got plenty to
watch.
To choose from, right?
That's right.
So before we get to our guest, JR, how many cars in inventory right this moment?
957.
Ooh.
I forget what it was last week, but I'm going to say 940.
947. You win again.
Oh, I swear I didn't cheat.
Well, it was only printed right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, as he said coyly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, didn't know that. So anyway, let's get to our guest. Good morning. Good morning, Spike Feresten, calling us from the West Coast on this bright, beautiful, gosh, it's early out there. Sorry about that, man.
It's not early for me.
Oh, you're an early riser,
They're
huh?
up, everybody's up early and fighting in the morning, so I like to get up and watch.
That's the best fighting, isn't it? It's the morning fighting.
Oh.
How many kids? 2 kids you have?
Yeah.
How old are they?
Teenagers. They're teenagers.
Oh, man. See, our youngest
my wife acts like a teenager, too, so I've got 3 of them.
Our youngest is now like 32, so we're hopeful.
Go.
My wife still goes around Christmas time, now what are we going to get the kids for Christmas? I go, nothing. They're going to get us something.
So one of those 980 cars.
Yeah, well, none of them, hardly any of them are into cars. One of our sons works here, and the rest of them are like, okay, I'll take a gray one. That's their whole reference point is the color of the car. So, but thanks for being on the show today. We met in Newport briefly, and I begged you to be on the show. So thanks for.
You were very nice. You asked very politely, and I said yes.
Yes, you did. You said
my mom lives in Pennsylvania.
So there you go.
That's why I said yes.
Mom's going to be proud of you because now is Mom the one who was into watches, right? Timex was her brand.
My mom?
Yeah, it was.
No.
You said something about she bought a Timex at Kmart. I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, that's the very definition of not into watches.
Now I want to know something. The EX and Rolex and the EX and Timex, and they're both 5 letters. So I'm wondering, is there some kind of weird connection that we don't know about?
Look at that. Never really thought about
I never did either. I just thought of it the other day.
There's any real connection to those companies. Though I have a great deal of respect for Timex. I really do like that company. And no joke, I like what they're designing right now.
Yeah.
Some of their most recent designs. Anybody can design something that you want to wear that doesn't cost you a lot of money.
Right.
Has my vote. I love stuff like that. And they launched this like Q series, I think they called it.
Saw that.
Timex Q. Mm-hmm. Yeah, based on like 60s and 70s Daytonas, and they're great, and they're like a little over $100, and you can wear something stylish on your wrist and not break the bank.
Yeah, I love that. Remember the old brand Claus Kobe, and they used to advertise in Road and Track and Car and Driver, and it was like $675, but on your wrist $175 was their tagline.
Oh, there you go.
And they had little Daytona Qs on them, and they were like $150. So for those
well, that's what we're doing at Sheffield Watches right now. The guy who bought that company bought that brand because his dad bought him this affordable dive watch when he was 13.
Right.
And I think it was just, $25. And now he's selling them really nicely designed kind of dive watches that are all very high quality without the boxes and the papers without the big profit margin, and he's selling them for $110. And he and I design watches that we try to keep under $300.
Sure.
That are watches that I wear on my wrist. I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah.
This is our first Swiss movement one that's not for sale yet, but it's based on my love of kind of Hoyer's 60s and 70s racing watches.
Yeah, I love those.
And Jay's a Porsche guy. I'm a Porsche guy. We're both watch guys. I have so much fun working with him and his company and making stuff.
Well, not many people get the chance to do that, to kind of create your own watch. So that's really, really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm a writer, and I've learned finally that I like to I guess I'm a creator. When your kids go to school early on, they didn't do this when we were kids. But now they look at kids and they go, we can tell you what type of kids they are. And you end up learning something about yourself as a parent. You go, there's this type of kid, and then there's the creative. And they don't think, I go, oh, yeah, that's what I've been. And I go, how are they the happiest? Because whenever you're making things and you're creating things and you're doing things, you're going to be happiest. And that really kind of helped me focus in on so much stuff.
Kids are way more aware these days than we were. Way more aware. They get stuff like that, and I didn't pick up on any of that until I was much later in life.
Yeah, smarter and more capable.
Well, yeah, my kids are always smarter than me. That's I try to fool them.
They seem fine, actually. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about this generation.
Yeah, me too. I think they're going to do just fine. They're smart. They're a lot of good things. So you got a lot on your plate too. I mean, you're designing watches. You host Spike's Car Radio you do. Finally, I found a name for what we do and you do, and it's called Video Podcast. So we were trying to figure out what to call ourselves. We're not a podcast because we do it on YouTube, but we are a podcast because we are on those channels. But what do we call it? Is it a show? Is it? And I guess now Netflix is starting to run podcasts on their site, and they're video podcasts. So that came up with that. Now that's what we call ourselves.
Just show is the one where I made movies. We call them shows.
Right.
You make TV shows. We make a YouTube. We call them shows. Shows is just call them shows.
Yeah, no, it's
all they are. They're little shows.
Cover a little bit of everything, so it's the fun thing to do. So you were born in the Northeast up in Massachusetts, which is not really a car country like people would expect. But is it? Maybe was there more cars up there?
It totally is.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, growing up, it's just different kinds of cars.
Right, Volvos and Saabs.
Still that same obsession. Like my friends were obsessed with kind of old muscle cars, old American muscle cars, and we're buying Chevy Novas and things at about $500 or $600,
right,
and jacking them up this way and pointing them down that way, and there was no attention to the engineering of a suspension so that the car could handle. So there was lots of crashing. It was all about kind of making something look cool and put some cool wheels on it and driving them. But, it's just that there weren't the types of cars that you see now in California and the kind of cars that I'm into. But I still am very fond of like old Mustangs and things, because it does remind me of my hometown and that stuff that we used to like.
Well, that's our bread and butter here. But I get you, that we didn't know what handling was back then. We knew what straight line performance was, but we didn't know a Porsche. We didn't know an MG or a Triumph or any of those cars that were, had great suspensions on them. And we didn't think, we just put air shocks in the back and see how high we could get the back end out.
And a good stereo.
And had to have the Alpine cassette deck that pulled it out of your hand and put it in, and then the ADS box speakers. Oh man, if you had those, then you were really something. Although I don't think girls really dug it, so it's just a guy thing. Just a guy thing. So, and then your career path started to go towards music. You went to the Berklee College of Music in Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the end goal there? Were you like Van Halen, or was that what was?
I thought I was the next Jimi Hendrix.
Nice. So, did you play music your whole life growing up, or was this later in life?
No, I was a Stratocaster player in high school, and I played shows at the school and was quite good at it and quite popular.
Right.
Before the internet, you could kind of own a town and be the Justin Bieber of your small town, and I was that.
The cool thing was then back then you could do a song and claim it as an original and nobody knew the difference. They didn't.
All I did, they knew. I played a lot of Allman Brothers and a lot of Rolling Stones and Zeppelin, and I loved it, and it was really great. So I just thought, naturally, I'll just go to music college and then be a rock star.
I love that. That's so great. We had a band. It was an air guitar band we had back in the day in Tennessee. So we were hillbillies from Tennessee. We didn't know any better. My dad used to always say, if you spent the time that you rehearsed in the air guitar band actually learning to play a guitar, you might have been something. Well, thanks, Dad. But some of the graduates that went to the Berklee College of Music, I mean, Levon Helm, Trey Parker from South Park, John Mayer, Al Demiola, Donald Fagen from Steely. I mean, my goodness, the roster was cool. Did you get to meet anybody back in the day when you were there?
Not a single one of them.
No.
In fact, the most successul people were the ones like me that dropped out. Pat Metheny. It's like you would hear those stories. You would go, oh, look at Al Demiola, and then you'd look closely at and they were there for 2 years and then they left and did stuff. So I look back at that. I mean, I don't really regret it because it kind of slingshotted me into entertainment, but it wasn't the right choice.
Right. Well, I
have a son that's studying, he's looking at colleges right now and applying. And I'm just laughing, just going, all the attention that we're giving him and the talking and the coordinating I go, none of that happened when I was a kid.
Not at all.
They were like, "Are you going to go to college?" And I went, "What's college?" I had no idea.
Right.
And I went, I play guitar. I'll go to this music school. So.
Yeah, which makes sense. Which I guess is, not a lot of musicians actually went the path of a music school. They just kind of started playing and figured it out, right?
That shows you how demented I was. Yes.
And did you go to New York immediately after that? Was that the plan, or what was the plan after?
No, I very quickly realized I had made a mistake and was too afraid to tell my parents about it, and just started watching a lot of TV. And David Letterman had created a show,
right?
And then I kind of just shifted from Jimi Hendrix to David Letterman, and went, I really like what's going on in this studio, and I would just kill to be an intern on this show. And why don't I see if I can chart a path from here to there? And weirdly did.
Wow, how cool is that? And Letterman's sense of humor is so great. But if you're a writer for Letterman, I mean, is he? This will sound maybe, I don't know, simplistic, but is he easy to write for if you understand what he's looking for?
Well, anybody like that you're writing for like that has a very distinct voice, and you're writing all day. You very quick, if you know how to write, or you're a good fit for that writing staff, that framework just pops into your head. And before long, you're just talking like Dave, and you're saying the phrases in his cadence, and
right.
Well, I don't know about that, Steve. And so you're just plugging in the jokes. It's kind of hard to say, but I do know we would have these like 13-week cycles, and by the 12th and 13th week in a row, you felt the most tired you've ever felt, but I was getting the most stuff on the air.
Right.
You'd have a week off, you'd rest, you'd come back, and you felt ready to attack, and you'd be getting the least amount of stuff on the air. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And then, Rob Burnett, who was the head writer at that point, used to say, because we talk about this very question you just asked, we go, what are we doing? We're writing all morning, write it through the day, pages and pages of jokes, and maybe one or two per page gets in. And he said, writing for Dave was like, if all of comedy's a football field, writing for Dave is taking 1 square inch of that football field and mining it straight down to China.
Wow.
And that was the best analogy I'd heard for writing for that show.
That was light bulb. I mean, my goodness, that really...
It was just a grind. It was a real grind, and staying in right in the zone, in the right pocket to make sure you got stuff on the air that Dave would pick to make sure you keep your job.
Sure. And was the outlet after that cars? I mean, was the release valve is to go out and drive whatever you had cool? And I know Dave was a car guy, and is a car guy.
But no, this is kind of how we get to here. And this point is people like Dave and Seinfeld. Dave, and I still don't recall what it was or who told him what, but Dave heard that I was a car guy.
Right.
I just like cars. I didn't really know much about them.
Sure.
And he called me up and he goes, hey, this is how desperate we all were before the internet.
Right.
No one even talks about it or remembers it. But before there was an internet, if you like cars, it was weird, right? You were the weird guy, and no other car guy knew that there were all these other car guys in the world. There weren't really cars and coffee events.
Right.
It's just this weird obsession you had by yourself. So Dave, hey, you like cars? He goes, you read Auto Week? And I go, yeah, a little bit. He goes, and he look at this ad for a ground effects Volkswagen Rabbit. You should buy that. And I went, cool. Or, the next week he goes, look at this. I got this model of a Ford GT40. Do you want it? And I'm like, sure. Yeah. I love that. So it was that fun kind of, but again, he knew way more. He was collecting Ferraris and he, buying Ferraris. Look at this yellow 275 I just bought. And I was like, I've never even heard of this.
Right.
He let me drive cars from his collection in Santa Monica when we were out for the Emmys.
Oh, wow.
And I drove a Dino, which I didn't even know existed. And suddenly I'm in one in Santa Monica, flying down the street, 356s, 914.6, an 89 911. And he was the one who said, you're a Porsche guy. At the time I had a Maserati bi-turbo, and he's like, that's a piece of Your 911, you get a nice early 911, and I did, and he was right, and I've been driving those cars ever since.
Great cars to drive, but I love the bi-turbo. Did it have the cushy seat like the Quattroport? Real cushy. Yeah, those bi-turbos, they were troublesome. I remember
they don't work right. No. They're horrible. But I mean, it was an '87. I remember looking at one a few weeks ago, and I still, God, I would buy that again. I don't know what it is too, and it's like I got a dumb Cartier clock on the dash, but there's just something about it that said like exotic car to this kind of small town Massachusetts guy. It was just like, oh, this Italian.
Yeah, how fancy. Yeah.
Well, they're terrible. They're terrible.
Well, and to your point, I mean, I didn't know when I bought my first car was a Trans Am, but I didn't know anything about.
I like those too.
I did too, but I didn't know the right one to buy because of like you said, no internet or anything. So I had a '75 Trans Am 400 automatic. Did I know that there was an SD 455 built in '74 with a 4-speed that would have been way cooler? No, I had no idea. I just liked that one. I liked that one right there with the bird on it. And of course, we just didn't know these things, and so the guys that knew were the really cool kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw the pace car version of that.
Oh,
car.
Yeah.
And that's where I went, what's happening here? I had never heard pace car before. I go, you're telling me this? I thought in my teenage brain that car was the pace car.
Right. It had to be.
I was like, and how did you get it? You're an EMT. You're an ambulance guy.
And there was other car guys on the staff there. We had one of your coworkers, I don't know, Tom Young, who works on Ferraris now, who was a sound engineer for Letterman back in the I believe, I'm not sure what the era was that he was on, but he's a Ferrari guy and works on Ferraris and was audio engineer for. I mean, it's funny, like you said, knowing who the car guys are. They used to be the nerd guys. Now it's like everybody's into cars. It's hard to meet.
Now we're powerful.
Yeah, all I have to do is tell somebody.
There were way more of them than we thought.
When I say to a guy, what do you do for a living? Classic cars. Oh, wow. Oh, how cool. I go, well, it's still a regular job. I still have to be the boss and yell at people and tell people to, do this and do that. I don't yell at people. I heard laughing in the background, by the way. I'm making notes of that, guys. But it's fun to be in the car business and have fun with cars. And I know that you love it and have become as knee deep in it as you possibly can be. Right?
Yeah, it appears that way. Well, I mean, I went from Letterman to Seinfeld, and I still remember Jerry pulling onto the studio lot on my first day and seeing my junker 74 911 and going, who drove that?
not as a complimentary.
That's the right car, the wrong example. And the new kid, Spike, and he comes in and he goes, hi, man, I can't believe you like Porsches. I go, I love them. He goes, you got to get rid of that one.
Yeah, that's the wrong one.
I went, what?
Yeah,
got to get rid of it?
Yeah, you thought this was the cool one, right?
And then he and I were off and running because you lived in those offices like they were dorms 7 days a week. And then when you had a break, it was the same thing. We're going through Hemmings, we're running through Auto Week, we're looking for cars. There's great stuff still for sale. He has an unlimited budget, so he's like, I'm going to get this thing called a 73 911 RS, and here's why. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, never even dream about owning that. Yeah,
he's talking to the president of Porsche. He goes, you should get one of these new 993 C2Ss. It's the last built here. He goes, do you want me to see if you can get paint to sample from Dr. Wiedekind? You had to write the president of the company. I'm like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it.
Excellent. Yeah, as the bank account just goes.
Well, he was then Seinfeld's doing pretty well. Right. He was like, here, I'm going to pay you this. And I'm like, wow, let's buy some cars. I have no kids and no life. It's just a small rent check.
And did a lot of people realize that Seinfeld was filmed on the West Coast? It wasn't filmed in New York. I think a lot of people were confused. I never realized that until
continue to be filmed in Studio City in the Valley, but there were B-roll shots that were shot in New York.
Right.
So let's say we wanted Kramer running through Times Square. We had a Kramer on standby that we would shoot from behind, who would run through Times Square, and we'd chase him with a camera and stuff. God, so there was a mix, but the New York street itself was built in Studio City.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I think
in the same. By the way, same lot as Gilligan's Island's Lagoon, which was there when I first arrived.
How cool was that? That from a guy who grew up in the '60s, man, that would have been the coolest thing ever.
First place I went, first day. I went to that lot. I had just moved to California from New York, and I knew it was there. And I said, take me there in the golf cart. And we went there and sat silent. That's the dumb crap that I like. And when I first visited L.A., my brother lived here before me. This was years before I came to live here. He picked me up at the airport and we drove right to Paradise Cove where the Rockford Files trailer had
That's a true car guy.
That's what we did.
That is a true car guy right there. That says everything.
I was super excited. I go, I don't want to see that. I don't care about the Hollywood sign. Take me to the locations, because this is the reason I had come to LA. I had seen this road, Pacific Coast Highway, and I'd seen these movies and Rockford Files, and I just wanted this lifestyle. I wanted a dog, I wanted a car, I wanted to be in the sun in the convertible.
Yeah.
And I bought a Cougar XR7 convertible.
Nice.
And there we go. I was off and running.
It was would Seinfeld have been more car centric had it been set in the California environment? I mean, I know there was a lot of car things that happened on the show, but I mean, would it have been more prevalent in if the setting was L.A.?
No. Not at all. That show is all about just comedy.
Well, I mean, but some of the stuff in there was really cool, like the Skip Barber magnet sticker on the refrigerator that was car related, which was so cool. And then the Seinfeld poster, the 1989 Porsche 930 Turbo that had the license plate said Seinfeld on it. You could order those from Porsche.
Yeah. I have there's also a poster of a 550 coming over a hill that's framed that was on the show that's in my son's room right now.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. He saw somehow some clip on YouTube and he went, well, hey, I've got the same poster. I go, no, that is the poster. I took it that night. But, that character was Seinfeld, so he was kind of putting his personality on the supermarket, this is how he would have decorated his apartment had that been his real apartment.
Sure.
So that's the only metric there, but the rest of it was just played for laughs. So I don't know that, aside from the 73 RS making an appearance on a New York street in the middle of winter in the episode The Rye, I don't know that there were any other big car moments.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one with John Voight's car or the Ass Man plate that Kramer had on. But
John Voight's car is Tom Gamble.
Right.
That's so he's definitely not a car guy.
Right.
He just this Chrysler, John Voight LeBaron somehow entered the writer's room.
It's I love that show's a great show, and it's so fun to watch, and it's still relevant today. And it was so structured. It's interesting that Larry David, who created that, made that so structured. Yet Curb Your Enthusiasm was the exact opposite of that. It was just not structured, and they just gave you a little outline and said, "Here, just talk about this for a while."
It's the exact same.
Really?
The structures are there.
Really?
Yeah. When Larry and Jerry created the show, I mean, and I think you can kind of see it now because they've both done things outside of the show. Their desks would be like this, facing each other. Right. You'd come in, the guys would be there, you'd pitch them like this, and sweat and the rest of it. But they had this balance. Jerry's comedy and Larry's comedy balanced out in the show, and that's what you get now when you see an episode of Seinfeld. Right? Jerry loves to write everything down. Every word of his act is written down on yellow pads, and loves to play with the words, rearrange the words, and extract the most amount of laughs per line without any excess. Trim the fat off the steak right down. So it's just like Larry likes to not do that.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, I think I'm a little more like Larry than Jerry in that writing is a very slow thing sometimes, and it's very hard for me to do by myself when I'm not in a room. But the inherent structure is identical.
Right.
Seinfeld and Curb.
Wow.
So, when I went in, I pitched an episode, hey, there's a soup guy, we call him the Soup Nazi. Great, go do that story. I outline that story on a board, dry erase board, bring them in, talk them through it, beat by beat, beginning, middle, end, right? Then they say there on Seinfeld, go ahead, go and write it.
Oh, gotcha.
On Curb, they say, great, you're done. But take the structure, we're going to talk about the scenes and kind of work them out on the floor and then go with them.
Sure.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They just
absolutely.
eliminate the writing step. because they're not shooting in front of a live audience. They don't have to perform a play and have everything dialed in, and they don't have to get everything done in 3 or 4 hours on a Thursday night.
Sure.
They're going to shoot it. They're going to shoot it quickly over the course of a couple of days. So they can work the scene out like you and I would.
Sure. And do you, what sticks with you now with Spike's Car Radio, your show that's on YouTube and podcast and all that good stuff? Do you adhere to any structure, or are you just like me, you just wing it?
No, you didn't just wing it. You Googled me, didn't you?
Well, of course I did.
You're going through my Wikipedia page right now. So you've done some prep for the interview, that's good. It's good that you did that. Well, I have been writing every episode of my show. I can't, unless I have someone like Jerry, that'll be the easiest show for me to write. But I go through every single episode and outline every single break to try to keep the conversation going.
Right.
I don't keep it that strict because I want it to be relaxed and fun and a spontaneous conversation. But I learned from working in late night, which I thought, when I first saw David Letterman, I thought that guy was improvising the show.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
And then I saw exactly how much work it takes, and my show is exactly the same. It doesn't take as much work as a Letterman episode, but it takes an amount of work to make sure it stays interesting for the audience.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you're hoping to get viewers and to, make it all work and make it worth your while as well, too. I mean, it's not cheap to do this. It's, you can have a camera in your mom's basement and have a show, but to make it somewhat more viable, you have to do a little more than that.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about cars, so there's lots of stats,
right?
You've got a world of guys who are doing car shows, and you have to be different.
Yeah.
You have to find your little zone of what you do well and communicate that. So, I love it. It's so fun.
Do you record once a week?
Like work.
Yeah, once a week. Is it once a week you record? Or?
Yeah, for now we're once a week.
And you would anticipate doing more or less?
We're talking about doing kind of the 12:30 version of the Jay Leno Garage Show.
Nice, right?
Jay's kind of the king of YouTube as far as like a car show.
Right.
We want to do one that's a little more irreverent, that doesn't step on his toes. That's kind of our thing. That is our version of kind of cars and comedy. So we're talking about that.
Well, I think that, having fun with it is most important to me. I wanted something that I could do that I could kind of break away from the business side of what I do and just enjoy myself. And that's part of what we do here. Because people, you're selling classic cars. We're not splitting atoms here. We're just selling a guy a Mustang or a Camaro or a Chevelle or whatever. And we want to make it enjoyable, and we don't want them to feel like they're coming to a used car lot where the guy's like, hey, if I can get you the rust proofing on that thing for $9.95, can I, we try not to be that way.
For sure.
Yeah. So your collection of cars, yours and your co-host or guy, Zuckerman, are those mostly your cars that are yours and his cars that are in the background of the show?
No, that's Zuckerman's hangar. That's
Gotcha.
his place where he keeps his cars. I called him and I just said, look, if we shoot at mine, it's going to be a little too cold because my hangar does not have heat. So, but we wanted to have, the bar top. And we wanted to look over our shoulders and see any of the cars that we bring into the studio, any of the press cars, any cars for our collection. So we decided to shoot at his place.
All right.
But there are, usually what we're doing, Jonny and I are usually driving press cars all year long, every week, manufacturers. It's a great gig.
I was going to say, what a great gig.
Yeah, today Rivian's dropping off their new SUV that's coming in about an hour, and what I do is I drive them as kind of me. So what does that mean? That means I'll end up taking my wife out to dinner in it. I'll end up running the kids around for errands. I'll end up going to meetings in it. I'll end up playing tennis in it.
Sure.
I'll just use it for a week. And what I like to do is kind of communicate, regardless of price and prestige. Hey, here's what it's really like what it was like for me to drive this thing.
Right.
Here's what people said, or here's, someone flipped me off in traffic because they thought I was that guy, or someone let me in.
Right.
You drive a Bentley convertible, you get a lot of middle fingers for some reason with the convertible. They like, but you drive a Subaru and it doesn't matter if you just cut someone off. They go, I love you, man.
Yeah, you're a good guy.
They love you, right? I'm the same guy. So, or, people know now that these aren't my cars, so they'll make a comment like, yeah, I like that, but I hate the color.
Right.
Or
they're not offending you. Yeah.
Yeah, without offending me. That's definitely not you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't drive a Lamborghini. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that guy, but it's a great car, So I try to, because these are such big purchases these days for people, the average new car is what, $30,000, $50,000 now?
Yeah, 40,000 something, I think. So.
Right. You want to say, look, let's not make mistakes here. And this is what I kind of learned in my short time with it. And hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, the press car gig seems like the greatest gig ever. I've always thought that would be so cool that they just send you a car. Is it once a week you get a car, or even more often sometimes? No,
yeah, sometimes you'll get. I try to sequence them in, but I've made mistakes where I'll get 2 or 3 at once, and I don't really like that. And occasionally you get into trouble with them. Like, I don't know, you probably didn't see the show a few weeks ago where I had this Maybach convertible, this beautiful Maybach badged $300,000. And I'm driving in Santa Monica on a beautiful morning, 70 degrees, 8 in the morning. The top is down. I'm moving at 20 miles an hour, and the truck in front of me hits a tree branch. Bigger than me, like a big ass branch going across 4 lanes, knocks it down, and it falls. Luckily, I'm not tailgating the guy. Falls right in front of the Maybach, and I laugh. It hits the Subaru next to me. This woman's car is destroyed. She weirdly backs out of it and then continues on her way in the shop. I have to do a U-turn because all the lanes are now blocked, and then I realized, God, I almost just died. Had I been closer, there was no I had the top down, and that thing was as big as a tree. You couldn't have wrapped your arms around it going across the lanes. And I was like, wow, but thank God the car's okay. Coming back 2 hours later, I have to stop because they're clearing it, and a guy rear ends me.
Oh my God!
Same spot. This is the same morning.
Oh no! That can't possibly be.
It's bad. And then you're like, oh, Mercedes, hey, you got to call them. You got to go look. So that's the only downside is, and I like, I treat these cars like they're my own, and I don't test them on a track and wreck them. But you live in a city, and things happen occasionally.
Absolutely.
You feel that stress when you're in something that costs $500,000 or
whatever
I'm
the number
driving
is.
a $2 million car in a couple of weeks.
I saw that. Well, and regular test drives suck because you go out and drive a car around for like 15 minutes. You have no reference of your normal lifestyle. Does it fit in my garage? Does it do this?
Yeah.
Can I get through the local drive-through? Can I get through my bank thing? My kid's going to be able to get in and out of it? All that stuff that you don't do when you test drive a car that you get to do when you have a car for a week. Maybe that's the new thing that manufacturers should do. They give you a car for a week, and if you like it, you pay us. If you don't like it, you send it back.
Yeah, well, definitely for a couple days. I don't know. No. A quick drive, you learn so much about a car in that first 5 minutes of the drive. Right. Like, I can tell a lot the very first moment I get into it. So I wouldn't say it's all a waste of time.
Sure. Well,
there's like a disconnect, especially when people are buying these old Defenders, like Land Rover Defenders. They look so cool, and there's so many companies that are modifying them, and then they spend $100,000 on them. They get in them, and they're just like, oh God, this drives like crap. Yeah, I can't drive this. Or even an old Series 2, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy getting a pumpkin at Thanksgiving. And you drive, and you're like, God, this drives like a tractor. I can't drive this.
My wife wanted a G-Wagon. I said, just go drive this one we've got for sale here. You can tell me how much you want it when you get back. She goes, I really don't want that.
Yes,
I said,
that's good. So that's what I mean. That drive is valuable, even if it is only for 5 minutes.
How do you find time to drive your own cars when you've got a press car to drive and you've got a beautiful new 911 ST? You don't have time.
Yeah, I don't, which is fine. Either I'll just stop the press car flow, and they stop naturally. I think this time of year,
right?
Like, I think the press car fleet tends to get smaller. So I am getting the new BMW M2 CS next, and maybe after that. I think I'm done. And then you drive your cars then.
Well, that's true. And you got good weather year round pretty much where you
year
are.
round. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I'm going to go drive this old Mercedes 420 SL today, which is going to be nice.
Oh, nice. And the whole hangar thing, you guys are like, are the airports going to want their hangars back at some point in time? Are they going to say?
It sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it. That's developers trying to close an airport so they can build apartments.
Right.
It's ridiculous. But it's unclear whether that's going to happen or not.
Right. So you love the 911 ST. What's the color of yours? It's some kind of chalky
blue.
Pure blue.
No, shore blue.
Oh, shore blue. Nice. They makes.
We were trying to get paint to sample on it, but at the end of the day, shore blue was a new color. It was just for the ST, and it was just an easier decision. Like, I like first year colors.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I've learned at this point that the color fascination kind of wears off after a couple of weeks, and then you just have the car. So as long as you're close, you'll be happy. So, that car is outstanding. So I should drive that car.
Yeah. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. And then call me and let me know how great it is, because I've got a lowly old 997, a 2006 911S 6-speed in navy blue. It's just a car, but it's the most fun car to drive.
What's the Porsche color though? It can't be navy blue.
No, I don't know. I got too many cars. No, I got too many cars. My guys all make fun of me. They're like, "Are you ever going to drive this car or that car?" And it's sometimes it's difficult. The car's buried. There's the battery's dead. You can't find your this. You can't find your that.
Yes.
The path of least resistance sometimes is the rusty old Suburban.
Correct. And something that's a little easier. No, this is something we talk about on the show. It's and weird. There's. I think it was Dave that really first said, he goes, I know you probably won't relate to this, but it's kind of hard keeping a collection of cars going. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? But now I kind of know, everything's got to be plugged in on chargers, and a battery tender. And, you have these waves of everything goes wrong. And you're just like, oh, God. And, you're constantly curating, and that's, we just talk about that because that's our lives, and we know that there are other people out there in our audience who are in this situation and want to talk about it, and we also know there are people who kind of can't relate to that, or I've always found the car hobby to be aspirational, and I worked hard to kind of get where I was at and where I'm at right now. And when I was young and in Massachusetts, we didn't have cars like that. My mom was a nurse, my dad was a salesman, and we drove Ford Granadas, and
we're proud of it.
I think we had an old, and a Chevy Impala. Paint came off. So, that's where I started with cars.
Well, the quality of the paint jobs weren't quite what they are today.
And now, I'm into it. So,
oh my God.
I'm just trying to communicate my life as accurately as I can.
Yeah. Well, you've driven a lot of cool things. I don't know. Have you driven one of the new 935s? I say new, 2019, the 935s that they came out with that were like the Moby Dick race cars from the 70s that they redid, and they had
I know the car,
Oh, my God.
I have driven. I think that's a GT2 RS underneath.
I think so, too. I think it is, too.
We had those.
And that GTD Mustang you had in not too long ago on your show was an amazing car. Did you get to
Jay Leno's?
Yeah. Oh, that thing is crazy.
Yeah. He loves that car. He really loves that car.
I love that he, he could have anything in the world and loves a $300, $600, whatever, however many $1,000 Mustang that's going to be. I imagine if you're...
He just loves tweaking Porsche's nose. That's why he brought it over. He's like, this is way better than your GT3 RS. They're like, okay. Yeah, for you.
Yeah, for you, maybe not for me. So
not for us.
Yeah. How do 959 Porsches were the coolest car in my era of growing up in the Porsche world. Is that car good to drive, or is it not as much fun as you would think?
Well, Jerry loves his a lot. I found them a little disappointing because they were at the time the height of technology. What is that, 85?
Yeah, 85 or 86.
The most everything Porsche knows in 1985 is put into that. It's a technologically advanced thing that when I drove it, I thought, wow, this is really primitive based on the technologically advanced GT3 RS I just drove. And I said to Jerry, I go, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't really like driving. I love the story, and I think it's really cool. But because it's trying so hard to be technologically advanced in its way, it feels primitive.
Yeah.
When compared, and I think that will change the older that car gets, and I'll probably start appreciating it more.
Sure.
It's just like currently, it's not. To me, it's just two in the middle.
Right. Well, I have a CL55 Mercedes. It's got stickmen for a navigation. You know, I mean, it's old school technology that has changed so drastically. Even just it changes every year drastically. So
yeah. It's interesting. This is what's fascinating about the car hobby. Like, we don't care what a car costs. We're not going to give it a pass just because it's $5 million.
Yeah, right.
How does it deliver? What is it like to drive? That's all that matters. So, like, here's our favorite car right now. Zuckerman and I own this 1979 BMW 525.
Oh,
we did not pay a lot of money.
Sure, they're not expensive
cars. It's got a little 4-speed. It was a Euro car, and it kind of takes you out of the game in California here, in that it's not the fastest thing on the road, but it never fails when you're having a stressful day to deliver the most relaxing cruise that brings you down.
That's
like
funny.
A Valium. And he and I both experienced this, and I go, I can't believe what a winner this is. And we've got some big metal to choose from.
Absolutely.
And here's this little car.
That's
funny. My boys love this car too. That is just the number one right now. It's the number one. And, that's what we tell people to look for. Look for these cars. Forget about money.
Right.
And forget about prestige, really. Look for machines that deliver that experience if you're a driver. Because that's the whole game.
Yeah, that's the greatest advice I've heard. My producer just handed me a note. My Porsche is midnight blue metallic, by the way.
Midnight blue metallic. There you go. That's a very nice color.
What a shameful thing to not know.
Yes.
So anyway, we really appreciate. I appreciate you getting up. Although you say you're an early riser, so I appreciate that. And we certainly enjoyed having you on the show. And hopefully, the next time we're out in California, we'll get to say hello to you in person.
Yeah. It was nice to meet you in Newport. Hopefully, we'll be back there.
We love it going there every year. So we'll hope to see you there as well too. We'll be back with the Classic Auto Mall Show in just a couple of minutes.
Whether you want to buy or sell a classic, collectible, or special interest vehicle, you need to visit the Classic Auto Mall website for more information. If you're looking to buy, you can easily search our inventory of more than 1,000 vehicles on the web at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall Show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Great guest, Spike Feresten, who has got an amazing collection and got a great gig. And it's like he said, he gets to hang out with Leno and
Letterman,
the life,
and
Seinfeld and those guys.
I was going to say, funny guy, but I think we know that because he wrote for the Letterman and Seinfeld and everybody else.
But just because you're an employee of someone's doesn't always mean that you're a buddy of theirs too, as well. Right. So he got the
car connection,
the double fecta, as they call it.
Thanks to cars.
Yep. I mean, it's like you said when Letterman came to him and said, "Hey, so where do we sell cars this week?"
Where
did you ask? Did you ask that? I think you did. How about Missoula, Montana? How about Buchanan, West Virginia? Dauphin, Pennsylvania, Gloucester City, New Jersey, Waukegan, Illinois, Milford, Delaware, Westchester, Pennsylvania, Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Agde, France, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania, Edgewater, Florida, New Iberia, Louisiana, Nokesville, Virginia, Washington, Utah, another Agde, France, Douglasville, probably the same guy, or his buddy, Douglasville, Pennsylvania, Weatherford, Texas, Morgantown, West Virginia, the Villages, Florida, Rocky Mount, Virginia, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania, Great Meadow, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Exton, Pennsylvania, Rising Sun, Maryland twice, Spokane, Washington, Staten Island, New York, Jonestown, Pennsylvania, Annapolis, Maryland, Bardo, Pennsylvania, Boston, Massachusetts, Czech Republic, Wilmington, Delaware, San Diego, California. That's 2 weeks of sales.
Wow, holy cow. Was that a little applause there for...
Yeah, sure.
How about that?
Thank you. There you go.
So what are we talking about now? Oh,
we're talking about inventory?
A new inventory, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we got the, how about the 1927 Ford Model T Coupe?
Yes.
Which one? Basic transportation, the black over gray. 29,000 actual miles. How cool is that? Well-preserved example. This is an honest antique car. If you want an antique car, if that's what your goal is to get an antique car to drive in a parade or to have in your collection, then the Model T is it. This is the poster child for antique car.
Yep.
So you got to get one. Next on the list is the 1940 Packard 110 Coupe. This thing is really cool. The pack, the primer beige, black over beige, 500 cubic inch Cadillac V8.
Sure, why not?
Turbo Hydromatic 400 transmission, 10-bolt posi axle, Mustang 2 front end. I don't know why this is so popular front end. It's always the Mustang
I think it's just because it's easy to. It's all complete. It's all
complete.
there.
It's inexpensive, smaller,
cheap, readily available.
Next on the list is the 1963 Chevrolet Nova SS Tribute, bright red over black, 350 cubic inch V8. Power glide automatic, 10-bolt axle, power four-wheel disc brakes. So
Very nice.
This is like a kind of resto mod-ish car, if you will. I love this one. The 1991 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, black over beige, over wood, over beige.
That's right, over maple.
5.9 liter Magnum V8, and it's got a MSD EFI on it, which makes it a little more drivable and a little more usable, if you will. Dana 44 axles, and final year for the Grand Wagoneer, which is always mistakenly said that they only made 1,452 of those, and that's incorrect. They made
that year, you
thousands.
mean. Okay.
Yeah, everybody always had that in their head for some reason. So. Another Model T. How about the 1926 Ford Model T Roadster? Primer black over black with a 307 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. This is all a Henry Steel rat rod. It's a pretty cool car. And then last but not least, the 1973 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Landau. Antique white and dark red. 58,000 actual miles with known history since new. Correct 350 cubic inch 2-barrel V8. And nicely well-preserved Survivor.
Now, if you wanted to put a 4-barrel on that, you'd have to change the intake manifold.
You'd have to
right?
take the intake, yeah.
And that would you'd get maybe more power from that?
A little bit. It depends. I think there's a fine line.
Yeah.
You can't push too much fuel into an engine without it being able to bog it down. So.
And did you hear the story of the Mercedes G-Wagon that sold at auction in Germany?
No.
Guy bought it, paid pretty good money because it was really nice, was driving it, didn't want to stop, wouldn't stop. Had a lot of problem with it.
Right.
Fellow was so unsafe, he had it towed, took it to the garage. They took the wheels off. The brake pads were painted red with a marker written on them, Brembo. They were wood.
Oh, my God.
Nice. Because wood brakes are what you want. They're good with that friction. And,
So now they're searching the seller at the auction and how this happened.
Yeah, it sounds like a lawsuit.
yeah, it sounds like a lawsuit just fixing to happen. So when we return, we'll continue our show and we'll have a conversation with our buddy Keith Martin, Sports Car Market Magazine. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
The Classic Auto Mall has more than 1,000 vehicles for consignment in our huge 8-acre climate-controlled showroom. It's a real indoor mall. If you'd like to know all the advantages of buying and selling a car through consignment, the information is available on our website, or you can talk to a classic car specialist who can answer all your questions. It's easy, safe, convenient, and it doesn't matter where you are. We sell worldwide. See our huge selection of classic and collectible vehicles at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall Show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Joining us via Zoom, our friend Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine. Good morning, afternoon, evening, Keith.
Good morning, and Keith is excited to be here today.
I can tell. You're raring to go. You know, it's hard not to love to, have a conversation talking about cars, right? That's what we all do. We just had...
I was on a family vacation with my son a couple months ago, and he said, "Dad, do you ever talk about anything but cars?"
I say no.
And I said, "Well, what, like what, for instance? Like, what is there?
What else is there?" That's the great thing about cars is, you could talk for. That's the problem with having a show is that defining it down to 30 or 40 minutes of talking about, because you could just keep going on and on for hours and hours and hours, which is
keep going on and on. But you know what? You'd watch your readers, your listeners, and the decline would be from like your 2 million now down to your sister.
Yeah, your sister, and because she has to. It's watching these guys who do these 3-hour-long podcasts. I mean, even if it's an interesting guest. At about 2 hours, I'm like, holy crap, this is 2 hours? I don't have another hour and a half.
Those are my workout podcasts.
Yeah, that's a good,
I'm at the gym and I'm just listening to those because I have to be doing two things at once.
Right.
I can't stop everything else in my life and just listen to those.
Yeah, how dare I watch a television show without my computer or my phone doing 18 other things?
Yeah.
Where
are those subtitles?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be helpful. I'm going to get one of those old-fashioned televisions that has subtitles on it. So,
so I want to riff sideways on Macans for a minute.
Okay, I thought I liked Macans. Maybe you're going to tell me different.
Well, they're the best Hyundai SUV you've ever bought. A friend loaned me a Macan GTS, which is the Super Zoot one,
right?
And I put 2,000 miles on a rally, and it was a wonderful car. It's not a Porsche,
right?
It's not really an SUV,
right?
It's just a really wonderful car. And so this guy was emailing me. He said he finally found his perfect Porsche with I think he said PCCBS brakes or something like that. And I said, well, I don't know what those are. And he said, those are carbon fiber brakes. I said, oh, for the Hamiltons out there.
Yeah.
And who need carbon fiber brakes on their Porsche SUV.
Yeah, because they're only $5,000 a rotor. So, there's... I know.
I love those cars, and we'll talk Porsches in a minute, but sure. I just find the whole Porsche SUV thing. I mean, Porsche, first of all, was brave enough to do that way before Ferrari, way before Lamborghini.
Yeah.
All those guys are worrying about it, this and that, and Porsche just launched.
Yeah, they just did it. They just said, okay, we're going to do it.
Yep. But it's not a sports car.
No, it's not. And it tries to be a sports car. And when you make a GTS version of whatever the heck it is, then that's saying this is what we want you to think is a sports car. And it's not. It's a good car. It's like good food. There's there's fine dining, which is, wonderful and this and great. And then there's just good old food, a good grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. Nothing wrong with it, but just not the same.
We got to give Porsche credit for being probably the best marketed car on the planet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, you see them everywhere. SUV, and especially in, more exclusive neighborhoods and things like that, you see lots of Cayennes and lots of Macans and lots of Pan Americas and, all the different versions of cars that aren't really cars.
Yep, no, I agree. So let's talk my Porsche.
Yes, the Sporto hits the road.
I've had that car for 3 years, and what I've often thought when you take a 50-year-old car and you bring it back to life, it's never just it needs points and plugs.
No, never, never, right? never.
Because the car is, if you had gone to Porsche in 1975 and said, 50 years from now, what kind of problems do you think I'll be having?
They'll say that car doesn't exist. It's dust by then.
So I really believe when you bring a 50-year-old car back to life, it's no different than breaking a horse.
Exactly. Yeah, there's lots of work involved.
And there's lots of take it, fix the things that are on your list, drive it some more, find the new things, take it back, have the new things fixed, take it back. You have to wrestle the car to the ground.
Yep, you really do, and pin its head and make sure its shoulders don't come off the mat.
And you know what you do? You threaten it with your credit card.
It's got to be like a platinum American Express card to really be effective, though.
You sit down, or I'm spending 10 more grand.
But that's food for thought for anybody who buys an old car. We try to tell our customers, look, there are going to be things that are going to go. If you drive out of here and drive 50 miles down the road and the fuel pump goes out, I couldn't have known that ahead of time. You couldn't have known that ahead of time. It just happens. It's going to happen. And things happen to these old cars. And you have to be prepared to say, I'm going to make a commitment not only to buy the car, but also to spend money going forward.
Yep. We were coming home in the rain in my 75 911, and the right windshield wiper came loose.
Well, that's lovely.
Really good timing, right?
It never happens on a dry day. Of course, you'd never know. It's just because you'd never turn your wipers on a dry day.
Dark. I'm on the freeway with one windshield wiper flopping, and I'm thinking, cutting across the freeway to get onto the shoulder is probably more dangerous than just with these old cars with their little dim lights.
Yeah, you just can't see them.
But let me say, with this car, after 3 years, I think we've got it nailed.
You got it dialed in, huh?
When we drove it to the coast the other day, it was the best driving Porsche experience I have ever had in my life.
And that's saying a lot because you've driven a lot of Porsches.
I've driven a lot of Porsche. It's a 2.7 motor. It's a Sportomatic. Everything is the linkages are fixed. The suspension is fixed. It's got new pistons and liners.
Oh.
I mean, it just was just unbelievably good.
You know, and to drive a car like that, to get that enjoyment, you kind of forget, not completely, but you kind of forget all the checks that you wrote to get there.
Oh, you do instantly.
Yeah, because it was all worthwhile. You tamed it and showed it what you could do.
It's like when you make up with your girlfriend, right?
Right, exactly. So is it going on the market today or tomorrow or when's it?
Well, it might stay in the Keith market for a while. You know, I've been moaning and whining about a 996 because of the power steering and but they are good cars, 996, but they don't have the live wire throttle response, that air cooled sound, that light in the front end. I mean, this 74, 75, 76 are kind of regarded as the last of the light kind of true Porsches. The SC was 300 pounds heavier.
Right.
I've owned many of them. They're all good, but they become more car and less Porsche.
Right. Yeah. And is that because of fixing the things that are, that have to be, or making the things that Porsche fixed over the years, I guess, better and better. And better isn't always better.
No, well, there's two things going on. First, there's smog and safety regulations.
Right.
Porsche goes water cooled, and then we have impact and we have air. I mean, many things are happening. That the 2.7 that I have weighs 2,500 pounds. That's the exact same weight as a Carrera RS.
Wow.
And, as Colin Chapman always said, add some lightness.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I'm such a big fanatic about the weight of car. Like my SL55, I don't know whether it weighed 4,500 or 5,000 pounds. It had 500 horsepower. Unbelievable car, but it's still 2 tons of weight.
Yeah, it's big and it's bulky. And, even race cars or Formula One cars are getting bigger and bulkier. It seems like everything, and I'm sure it's a safety thing. I'm sure it's you get that much power going on in a car and it weighs. I mean, can you imagine that engine from your SL55 in that 2.7 Porsche?
Yeah.
I
understand. But the other question is, how fast we've talked about this before.
Sure.
How fast do you need to go?
I don't know. I can't. That S65 coupe I had, V12 twin turbo. I don't think I ever put the gas pedal all the way to the floor. I really don't think I did. And I'm not. I'll drive it. I'll get out there. I wasn't babying it. I couldn't imagine going any faster.
I was in a Ford GT40. I was the first person to test one. I was reviewing it for the New York Times.
Right.
I got to a stretch of Eastern Oregon. And I hit 160. And I had my attorney was with me, John Dranius, and he was there. And he said what he would do if we got stopped is he would tell the officer that I was legally blind. He was giving me the directions and that I couldn't read the speedometer.
And you couldn't feel how fast you were going, right?
Exactly. So how could I be guilty?
Oh,
but
yes.
I hit 160. And I remember I just stopped and I pulled over to the side of the road. And I thought, this is an open road. There could be a cow here. There could be some car coming the other way. There could be a tumbleweed. Well, how stupid am I to put myself and somebody else at risk by putting this kind of speed on a public highway?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not for regulations to make cars governed or anything like that. I think that, that's the freedom of choice of having these things. But unless you're on a track, even a bird. I mean, even on a track, you can have problems, but at least you're in a controlled environment, not in a random environment like driving down the highway at 160, which was hopefully more than 7 years ago.
Yeah, well, the problem now is you post a picture, the police can look at the data on the picture and see when it was and where it was and how fast you were going.
There's a YouTuber who blew up a Ferrari apparently not too long ago, and apparently the IRS is coming after him because he didn't pay taxes on it, and they saw it on YouTube, and somebody looked it up, and lo and behold, I guess he's going to jail. So,
okay.
All righty then. So anyway, great to have you as always. And hope everything's going well in the magazine world. And we're still counting down to the 40th anniversary of your fine publication.
We are. We're having our 38th birthday party on December 5th, where we bring the whole staff in.
Sure. How great! It's just hard to believe that it's been that long. So
we've had some people with us 15 and 20 years.
Right. Well, continued success, Keith, and we will catch you. Oh, we won't. No show next week, right? So
no show next week.
No show next week, and then we'll see you the week after. I think it's December the 3rd.
I don't know.
Steve, the producer, is like, I don't know. How am I going to know that?
I don't know. I'll just talk.
Just wait till you hear from us.
Okay.
Keith Martin, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Bye. We'll catch you next time on the Classic Auto Mall Show. We'll see you next time.
Here's a special offer from Sports Car Market Magazine. Get a 6-month subscription for just $19.95 by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive and the number 6. That's sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. If you're a buyer, a seller, or just general classic car enthusiast, publisher Keith Martin says,
we've been around almost 40 years. It's the Wall Street Journal of the collector car world.
Activate your 6-month trial of Sports Car Market Magazine by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. Offers for a limited time. Be in the know with Sports Car Market.
The Classic Auto Mall Show with their host, Stuart Howden, executive producer, Steve Sethier, produced and engineered by yours truly, J.R. Russ, video editor, Randy Lammy. Available on ClassicAutomall.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Music courtesy of the Pat Travers Band. For tour dates, contact, and stuff, visit PatTravers.com. Produced by Car Smarts Media. Copyright all rights reserved.